Dear students, in the previous session, we have discussed regarding the physical causes. In that, we have studied with respect to the shrinkage of concrete, which develops the deterioration of or distress of the concrete. Now, in this session, let us go some more physical causes like freezing and thawing, weathering, creep, fire, etc. So, according to syllabus, we are going to continue this session. So first let us see the freezing and thawing. So in the concrete theory, we have discussed what is the meaning of freezing and thawing, creep of concrete, shrinkage of concrete, everything. Now once again, we are going to study with respect to the freezing and thawing. So we know the concrete hydraulic structures are vulnerable to freezing and thawing. We know the as the structures is exposed, okay, exposed to the environment, the freezing and drying effects will be more, such as for example we're having a top of the walls, piers, parapets, etc., all are exposed. So these type of structures will repeat the freezing and thawing. So generally by using freezing and thaw, disintegration of the concrete and the deterioration takes place when the following conditions are present. It is freezing and thawing temperature cycles within the concrete, porous concrete that absorbs water. So when the water fills with pores and capillaries, so there will be freezing and thawing will develop. So next, coming to the weathering. So we know the what is the effect of weather. So while construction of the buildings or structures, there will be different weather conditions, and after some days the weatherings will be changed. That means the weather will be changed. Based on that, the physical cause which change the physical deterioration of the structure. So weathering can be defined as the changes in color, texture, strength, chemical composition or other properties of a nature or artificial material due to the action of weather. We know structure or when the structure is exposed to the weathering conditions, when the weather is changed, there will be changes in this property, that is color, texture, strength, and also in the chemical composition. Next, generally the causes of weathering changes, that is the damage from freezing and thawing is the most common weather related physical deterioration. Okay. Next, for having alternate wetting and drying, there will be alternate heating and cooling. The cracks will develop due to this weathering. Next, if the volume change due to this process or excessive cracks may develop. We know due to the fizzing and drying or when the internal stresses is developed inside the concrete masses, the cracks will develop. Okay, so this is regarding the weather. Next, coming to the crazing. So crazing is the development of fine random cracks on the surface of the concrete caused by shrinkage of the surface layer. This is also just like the shrinkage cracks, but this is not that much effects as the shrinkage cracks. So generally these cracks will not affect the structural integrity of concrete but may lead to subsequent deterioration of the concrete. So initially these cracks will not affect the concrete integrity, but as the days increases, it deteriorates the concrete structure. Next, these cracks will be generally in the hexagonal shape and typically this will not cross 50 to 100 millimeters. So next, coming to the causes of crazing, poor and inadequate curing. So we know the proper curing is not done. Generally, the cracks will develop the same thing which is in the crack. This is also similar to the shrinkage or crack, plastic shrinkage. Next, sprinkling cement on the surface to dry up the bleed water. These concentrate fines on the surface. So generally, when the bleeding water is coming up, the peoples are used to spray some of the cement powder to avoid the bleeding. So these concentrate the fines on the surface which develops these cracks. Next, the preventive measures of the crazing. Next, damping the subgrade before placing concrete. We have to avoid over finishing on the surface. That means after finishing we have to not do the over finishes. Next, by avoiding splinking of dry cement. Okay, that means which concentrate the powder. So we have to avoid the splinking. So after that we have to cure the structure as much as early. Next, coming to the creep. We know the creep of concrete, that is without application of strain, the strain, without application of stress, the strain will continue. For this, we are calling as a creep of concrete. This we have studied in the concrete technology itself. So here also same thing. Some of the factors which affects the creep of concrete is water cement ratio, type of aggregate, admixtures, mixing time, humidity, and these are all the factors which affects the creep of concrete. That means the continuous deformation will occur in the concrete elements. Next, coming to the fire. So generally, the fire is the accidentally occurs, or in some of the structures, the fire will, for example, in the nuclear tower. So generally, the fireproof concrete has to be introduced. Or in the building side, the accidental fire will occurs, which reduce the strength of the concrete. So generally, when the fire occurs to the structures, so some of the principal damages will be like this. It reduces the strength of concrete up to 300 to 400 degrees centigrade. There is more much difference in the strength of concrete. When it crosses beyond 400 degree temperature, the strength of the concrete will reduce. Next, cracking will develop. Once again, the shrinkage will develop when the more temperature is occurs, and spalling will occur. So as I told in the previous session, we have discussed regarding the spalling of concrete, that is spalling of cover, and the reinforcement is exposed to the environment. Next, discolorization and also miscellaneous functional failures. So these are the some of the effects due to the fire. Okay, this is with respect to the some more physical causes, that is freezing and thawing, weathering, crazing, and fire. So in the next session, we can discuss regarding the chemical causes of the deterioration of structure.